Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my gameplay screen. Already we're live. Actually, let me go to my main camera. There we go. Already we're live, and as you guys can tell by title thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on more game logic plus casting in Unreal Engine using C++. So last stream I did work with Blender where I made almost no progress because I was trying to keep the stream not laggy when I'm actually using Blender because apparently my Blender does not lag in general. Although it does lag when I actually stream myself using Blender, so I was trying to fix the lag. That said, I spent like I think maybe 15 to 20 minutes, or I think even more, fixing the lag, but it didn't really end up in anything. That said, I'm gonna go to my gameplay screen, and guys, I think that was like two completely different topics. Okay, so today I'm going to be working on with casting and with, I actually forgot, guys, I just came from college, I can't think properly. Okay, actually I didn't just come, I came like 2 hours ago. Okay, that's it. Let's say something like Sensei live exclamation. And this is like a new chat, so I'm gonna go with something like Sensei live exclamation. While I'm doing that, let me check. There we go. I wanted to check if I was really on my gameplay screen. Okay, the secret of getting ahead is getting started, said by Mark Twain. You showed up. Okay, ready, Sensei. Guys, this is a new chat. So what are we gonna? Uh-oh. Hold up, I think Did I go to like a different chat? Hold up, guys. Let me go to my actual chat here. Oh. Um. Okay, I guess well, let's start it. So lesson one, cast. So I actually did work with cast, but I kind of forgot what it does. I mean, I didn't really forget. I never seem to actually get a good grasp of what the cast does. So today I am like actually kind of determined to figure that out. So cast in Unreal Engine. First, understand the problem. In Unreal Engine, almost everything is a new object under the hood. Actors, characters, controllers, components, they all inherit from a base class. When Unreal gives you a pointer, it sometimes gives it to you as a parent class type like this, a actor, sub actor. Unreal gives you a base a actor pointer, but deep down that actor might actually be your my character or your my enemy. Unreal just doesn't know that yet, okay? Or rather, it's not telling you. This is exactly where cast comes in. What cast actually does, think of it like this. Imagine you have a bag. Inside that bag, there could be anything, but you believe there's a sword inside, okay? I wonder who keeps a sword inside a bag. That said, cast is your reaching into the bag and saying, if there is a sword in here, give it to me. As a sword, if there isn't, give me a null PDR. Oh, I see. Okay. In code, a actor, which is represented by a pointer called some actor, that is equal to get owner. You get a actor, you get a base a actor. Now, a my character, which is represented by a pointer called my char, equals to cast a my char some actor. A actor, okay, if my char it were to say some actor is actually a my character. Now you can call a my character's this function on it. Else cast failed, log temp cast failed. Oh, I see. Okay, actually cast wasn't that hard. I think that I didn't really pay much attention when I first started. Why can't we just use the parent pointer directly? Great question. Look at this. A actor, some sprint, compile error. A actor doesn't have a sprint function, only your a character does, so you must cast first to access your custom functions and variables. The parent class has no idea your custom stuff exists. What happens if the cast fails? If the object is not what you think it is, cast returns null PDR. Okay, that is why you always check after casting. Okay, if a character, always check, always do not skip this. My char, which points towards the sprint function. If you don't check the cast fails, your game will call function on a null PDR, your game crashes. Don't be that person. Well, on real example, you have already seen, okay. Example, getting your character from a pawn. So a pawn, which is going to be represented by a local variable called my pawn, that is going to be equal to get worlds function that points towards get first player controller. Yes, I have worked with this. That uses an arrow mark operator to point towards get pawn. And then I go with a my character, which is represented by a pointer called my character or my char, which is equal to cast a my char, my pawn. So I cast to check if my pawn exists, inside of my in my char. If pawn isn't this, so it's not null PDR. Now you can access your characters as custom stuff. Compile to game mode, a game mode base, which is represented by a pointer called GM that is equal to get world that points towards get auth game mode. Auth here stands for authoritative game mode, and then a my game mode. Game mode base is inside. Actually, my game mode is inside of my game mode base. No, it's the complete opposite. A game mode base is inside of my a game mode. There we go. Okay, so a my game mode, which is represented by a pointer called my GM, equals to cast. I check if GM does exist inside of my game mode, and if it is not a null PDR, if my GM is true, access our custom game mode functions. Okay, there are 3 rules of casting. Rule: cast when you need the child. What it means, you have a parent pointer, but you need child features. Okay. Always check the result. If cast fails, return null PDR. Crashing is your fault. Never cast unnecessarily. If you already have the right type, no cast is needed. Now pay attention. That is the full foundation. Ready? Okay, read it twice if you have to. I'm not moving to the next question until you tell me. Do you understand it? Any part confusing you? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Okay, I did have a tiny question, so let's copy this line and paste it. Shift Enter and say something like, so say, I did have a small question, ... Okay, so when I do, let's say something like cast, and then I'm gonna go with something like a my game mode. Okay, bro, can I get a job in IT without a degree? Honestly, I would say that that's very highly unlikely, although I don't have much experience in that myself. But without a degree, I highly doubt that you could get a job anywhere in general. Like if you're looking for having an occupation or like a career in something, I would recommend you to actually get a degree. Speaking of which, in IT or like in any program field, they do see your experience, like work experience and all that stuff, and depending on that, they're going to be deciding whether or not they want to really give you a job. Just compare, because when it comes to like either someone who's, let's say, an intermediate developer versus a junior developer, the one with the more experience actually gets the stuff. If that made any sense, guys. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go with something like cast, a game mode, which is gonna be having something like GM. Okay, so let me fix my typo real quick. So when I do this, okay, when I do this, can I say it like this question mark? I'm gonna say it like this. I use a cast to check if my GM exists in my game mode. If it does, I use it, else I return null PDR. Okay, and then let's end it. This was one question that I wanted to actually ask. Why are you forcing yourself to talk like that? It's so annoying, guys. Stop forcing yourself to talk like that. It's actually kind of crazy. That's a good question, but no, that is not quite right, and I will not let you move forward with a wrong mental model. Okay, I think that was wrong. Here's the correction. What you said, I check if GM exists in my game mode. What you should say, I check if GM is my game mode. If it is, give it to me as an my game mode. If it isn't, give me null PDR. Oh, I check. Oh, okay. I check if GM is my game mode. If it is, I get something else. I get null PDR. Okay, you're hiring AK. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, I think I see. Think of it like this. You see a person wearing a hood. You ask, are you my sensei? If yes, they reveal themselves and you can now talk to them as your sensei. If no, you get nothing, null PDR, walk away. Ah, I see, ... Okay, finally I understand the concept of cast. I go ahead and check if something is something. If it is something, I go ahead and do something. Else I just return out PDR and don't do anything. No, no, no. IC is not good enough for me. That is what people say right before they forget everything in 10 minutes. Guys, forget everything in 10 minutes. It's kind of crazy. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power when you use it. Said by Dale Carnegie. I see. Say it back to me in your own words right now. Complete the sentence. When I write casts in my game mode, GM, I am asking if the GM is my game mode. If it is, I do something. Else, I return null PDR. Else, it returns null PDR. Now let's send it. There we go. Okay, that should be pretty good. Okay, better, much better. Not perfect yet. You said if it is, do something. That isn't complete. What exactly happens when it succeeds? It doesn't just let you do something. It gives you the pointer as the type. It gives you the pointer as that type, so you can access its custom functions and variables. When I write a cast, I'm asking if my GM is actually my A game mode. If it is, I get it back as an my game mode's pointer, so I can access its custom functions and variable. If it isn't, I get an LPDR. That is something that I might wanna make notes on. What up, guys? Okay, which prompt settings are you using? Basically, I just said, whatchamacallit, Claude 2, whatchamacallit, I gave Claude my roadmap and I basically was like, let's see, I want to go ahead and follow the roadmap starting as an absolute beginner. So I have like a lengthy roadmap which has everything from the basics all the way to the advanced stuff. So I'm basically following them in order type stuff. That said, I think just following them doesn't do the trick. I gotta go ahead and make notes. Cast was one of the hardest topics for me to master till now. I think I finally got a grasp of it. Let's say something like cast, C-A-S-T, with a pair of ankle braces and a pair of parentheses. What does it do? Question mark. Get an understanding. I'm going to go ahead and say something like, when I write, let's say something like, when I write, W-R-I-T-E, let's say something like cast. Okay, and then a pair of ankle braces, which has let's say game mode. I'm going to go with something like game mode. When I write cast my game mode, with GM in it, which is basically a short form for game mode, I'm gonna go ahead and ask something. Let's say that I asked, maybe I am asking ASKING, so I am asking if GM is actually an my game mode. Okay, I'm asking if GM is actually ACTUALLY, if GM is actually my game, GAMEMODE. There we go. I'm asking if it really is my game mode. If it is, I'm gonna go with something like, if it is, so there we go. Okay, I get it back. I'm gonna go with something like, I get it back. Let's go with get it back. Okay, as an my game mode pointer. As an my game mode pointer, let's go with something like POINTER. Okay, so I can access its custom functions and variables. Okay, so I can access ACCESS. Oh, that's cool, man. That actually honestly sounds pretty cool, guys. Okay, so I can access its, let's go with something like its custom functions and variables. CUSTOM, custom functions and variables, and VARIABLES. There we go. Else I get null PDR. If it isn't, I get null PDR. Okay, so let's go with something like, if it isn't, ISNT. If it isn't, okay, I get, let's go with something like get null PDR, NULL PDR. Okay, perfect. Say that exactly back to me. Okay, well, I mean, Claude did say it back to me. I've written it, so let's assume I actually typed it. Okay, hi, you're doing happy boy. I appreciate you joining the stream. Good, finally, repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, and the architect of accomplishment, said by Zig Ziglar. Wow. Question 1, easy warm-up. Look at this code. A my pawn, which is represented by pointer called my pawn, that is equal to game mode, which points towards get first player controller, that points towards get pawn. A my character, which is represented by a pointer called my char, is equal to cast. A my character, my pawn. Tell me, why can't we just use my pawn directly to call our custom character function? Why do we need the cast? I got this in the bag, guys. Let's see. So the reason we need a cast here is because we want to check if my pawn is, let's say, a my character dot dot dot. If it is, then I will be able to access all of its functions and variables. If it is not, then I will be getting a null PDR. And now let's go ahead and send this. Okay. Is it just me or is Claude thinking really long here? Correct, but you're missing one tiny thing still. You still didn't answer the first part of my question. Why can't we just use my pawn directly? You told me what cast does, but why my pawn not good enough? Hint, look at the type of my pawn. It is an A pawn. What does A pawn know about your custom function? Let's see. A pawn. Okay, get rows. Okay, why can't we just use A pawn? Let's say A pawn does not know anything about my functions that I will be accessing through my character. And then let's send it. Oh god, I gotta always click this icon here to send it. Enter key never works. What kind of game will you make? Honestly, I do want to make, let's say, some kind of, let's say, should I say an RPG? Because I'm confused between an RPG or an FPS game. My goal by the end of the series is to make a game that consists of AI logic in it, which could either be an RPG game where I have an NPC, guide my player to the enemy NPC using raycasting. Or if I were to make an FPS game, let's say I want to make a game where I have a shooter or another NPC that tries to attack and defeat my player while my player gotta attack and defeat that NPC. But I think the FPS game would be a bit more complicating, so I might go on with an RPG one. Yes, exactly, that is it. A pawn is the parent. It has no idea your custom function. It has no idea of your custom functions even exist. That is why we cast. Perfect. Question to medium. Look at this code. What is wrong with this code and how do you fix it? A my character, which is represented by a pointer called my char, equals to cast A my character, my pawn. I want to check if my pawn is my character. If it is, then my pawn gets access to all the functions and variables that exist inside of my A character. However, let's say this will crash because we did not define a pawn to be represented by a pointer called my pawn. We need to add a pawn which is going to be represented by a pointer called my pawn. Okay, and I think that I need to fix my represented spelling. Hope that is correct. And of course, I need to always hit the icon here to send. Speaking of which, let's wait for this to send. Close but not quite here. Not quite the answer I was looking for. You're thinking about the wrong problem. Assume my pawn is already declared correctly above the code. Look at these two lines again very carefully. What did you just learn about cast failing? Oh, I see. We did not add an if statement that checks if the cast returned null PDR. We needed to check if what was the name of the variable? If my char was not null. And if it was not, then we sprint. Okay, and then let's go ahead and send a Desert Cloud not timeout. Yesterday, while I was having my Blender stream, it did timeout for some reason, but honestly, that was the first time that it ever did timeout. I didn't even use Cloud for that stream because it was a Blender stream. Although, it does not really timeout that much. That said, Howling Longshore, appreciate you joining the stream. Yes, exactly right. That is the answer. Always check after casting. Always. If you skip that check and cast fails, your game crashes and it is entirely your fault. Here's the fixed code, so we gotta always check if my character did not return null. Simple, clean, safe, burn it in our brains. Question 3, hard. Okay, so these are where the hard questions start. Look at the situation. You have a component on an actor. Inside that component, you want to access the owner of the component, but only if the owner is your custom AMI character. Write the code from scratch, no hints, no help. Okay, well, I guess this is the first time I'm gonna go ahead and open my Visual Studio in this stream. Wow, it's been a while since I've opened it. Here's the thing, should I go with an Unreal Engine project? I might really go with it. Fine, I'm gonna go with Practice Underscore UMJ. Cannot, okay. Let's go with mini projects, because why not? I'm just gonna go ahead and write the chunk of code and ignore the rest. So let's wait for Unreal Engine to open real quick. While it's opening, I'm gonna go here and let's say refresh my instructions so I can read it in my other window. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and exit that. I'm gonna go to... Okay, ignore me if I'm using this file here. This wouldn't make any sense. Okay, I'm just using this to get the code. Okay, look at the situation. You have a component on an actor. Inside that component, you want to access the owner of that component, but only if the owner is your custom. So I might go with something like a actor. Okay, no hints, no help, which is going to be represented by a pointer. Oh, God, I can't even use it here. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and have a cast somewhere out in my C++ file. It's fine. Under my begin play, I'll go with. So, do you guys see a begin play? Here is my begin play. I'm gonna work on it here. Okay, so fine. I guess I'm gonna go with something like this. I'm not even... Guys, just ignore half the functions that I'm writing here. I'm just writing this so I can actually get into a setup to actually add my casting. Firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and check something. I'm gonna go with something like a actor, which is gonna be represented by a local variable called my actor. That is going to be equal to, how do you get your actor? I might go with something like, not get auth player. Get world, I'm going to get my world. And then I'm going to point it towards into lessons. Can I go with auth? That is get auth game mode. I want to get first player controller there. I guess that's fine. First player controller is function. Should I get my controller too? I think I'll leave it like this for now. Next up, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick little cast. So I'm gonna go with something like my character, CHARACTER, which is going to be represented by a local variable called something like... Wow, did I really mess my character's spelling? CHARACTER, my character. Did I do something wrong? Hey, ain't this my character? Pretty sure I have just... Fine, I guess I'm gonna go with pawn instead. which is going to be represented by something like my pawn. And then for pawn, I don't gotta get my world. I gotta go ahead and get. Let's see, what do I need to get for my pawn? Okay, so get world. I want to get my world for my pawn. And then I want to go ahead and point that towards get first player controller. I want to get my first player controller. And then I want to go ahead and get my pawn. There we go. And then this is going to be, let's say, oh wait, why did I go with my character? Guys, my bad. Okay, those are some silly mistakes. That was so awful. Okay, my character is going to be represented by a local variable called something like my character. That is going to be equal to, I'm going to go with something like cast. Uncle sees, I want to cast my character and check. Whoops. I want to cast and check if my pawn is my character. If my pawn did turn out to be my character, I'm going to go ahead and give my pawn access to all the functions of my character. Although I'm going to go with something like an if statement here. Let's say something like if my pawn was not equal to null PTR, or I could go with my pawn, or I could go with is valid. If my pawn is valid, then I want to do something. I'm going to go with something like my pawn points towards print. Can I use print? I thought I could have. Oh. Maybe I could go with something like jump. I mean, it's not that bad. I'll just go with exe jump. I don't really know what it does. Requires any parameters. So exe jump, you object context, fine. I'm not gonna add anything. I'm gonna go with pass. Oh, it's not Python. Null. No? Null ending with a semicolon. There. Let's copy that. And now let me go ahead and grab Claude here. I'm gonna paste that, zoom in, and say something like, and say, whoops, I guess I gotta go ahead and remove. No. I wrote this. Okay, let's send it. Okay, that was actually a handful to write. Although by the end of this series, I gotta be able to do this instinctually. I see what you're trying to do, but there are mistakes, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Let me break it down. Problem 1, wrong approach for a component. The question said you're inside a component. You don't use get world, get first player controller, pawn. To get your owner, you use get owner. I did not learn about the get owner function. That is literally what it's for. Okay. Problem 2, you're casting the wrong type. The question said to cast a my character, not a character. Your custom class. My custom class is called player character, but okay. Then let's see. Problem 3, you're checking the wrong pointer. You cast into a my character, but then you check is valid. You need to check the result. Guys, I don't know why is my leg itching. Okay, I think there's like a mosquito or something. Okay, you need to check the result of your cast. Problem 4, null PTR means there's nothing. Okay, here's what the correct code looks like. So I check if a actor is represented by a pointer called owner that is equal to get owner. Okay, and then a my character, which is represented by, let's say, a pointer called something like my character that is equal to cast a my character owner. If owner has access, or if my owner is a my character, then I give my owner access to all the functions and variables um, that consist inside of my character. Now access my character for a custom function. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a actor that is going to be represented by a pointer called owner, which is going to be equal to the get owner function. OWNER with a pair of parentheses. Now let's read what this does. Get the owner of this actor used primarily for network replication. +1 overload. I see. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Next up, in my character check, this is gonna be owner. That's gonna be owner. Okay, do you guys remember what Claude actually had up here? Fine, I guess I don't go with this valid. Even though I did learn about his valid and this is the correct place to use it, I want to check something. Owner points towards jump function. Ask. Does that work? I haven't learned of the exe jump, so there is context that is going to be my U object. Okay, I don't know which function to use here. Here's the thing, if it's my character, I should have access to... Fine, I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna go with IntelliSense. Let's see if there is anything that I can use. Maybe nothing else. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I'm gonna copy this part. Let's grab plot up here, paste it, and say item not, or let's go with I don't know what to add inside my if statement. That's that. I think that I got a pretty good idea of what cast does now. Okay, and then of course I gotta always send it because it doesn't work if I don't send it. There we go. Let's see. Do you think from one still casting the wrong type? Not character, your custom class. Pay attention to the details. Still can't use jump, but it's fine. Okay, now that's my own custom class. There we go. Problem 2, checking the wrong pointer again. You're checking if owner, but owner is will almost always exist. You need to check cast result, which is my char. Okay. And then let's grab plot up here again. That is the one that could be null PDR. This is how it should look. Okay. Let's grab plot up here, paste it, and paste it. Access any custom functions or variables. I don't really have any, so I think it's fine. Now I'm gonna grab plot here again. Yes, now that's what I'm talking about. Correctly, proper, I'm proud. And fierce at the same time because it took you a few tries, but you got there. Get owner, cast your custom class, checking the cast result. Most people just give up when they're about to achieve success if I lost her vote. That actually makes so much sense, guys. I've had that feel like more than I can't even count. It's like more than I can actually count. Now, just add something inside that if statement, anything, call a function, a load, something. Fine, I'm gonna say something like UE underscore log temp, verbosity, warning, and then text. It worked. it just worked. Control S to save the code. Gonna copy that, gonna grab that, gonna paste it, send it. There we go. That's it, perfect guys. I'm not gonna read this now. I'm actually gonna finally be moving on to the next part now that I understand what cast means. And now sprint and crouch. Are you ready to start project 2? Let's go. Yes sir, project 2. The sprint machine. This is what we were gonna be working on 2 streams ago, but I did not really complete that because the next stream I had to work on Blender and this stream I was gonna be continuing this stuff, but if that made any sense. Tell me what you remember about the sprint, about how the sprint works in Unreal Engine 5 and we'll build from there. I do not remember anything. I mean, I do remember it, but I don't want to just exaggerate up there because even if I remember it, I'd rather get an explanation again, if that makes any sense. Even though I didn't really add a sprint function. Of course you don't, okay. And that's fine, that's why I'm here, but don't you dare zone out while I'm teaching you because I will know. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you, set by B.B King. Okay. Listen, sprint and crouch in Unreal Engine. First, how does movement even work in Unreal Engine? Your character has a special component called character movement component. This component controls everything, okay, about how your character moves, speed, jumping, crouching, all of it. You can access it like this: get character movements as function. That is your gateway to all movement. Burn that in your brains. Sprint, how it works. Something in Unreal Engine 5 C++ is simple. Sprinting in Unreal Engine 5 and C++ is simple. My bad, guys. Your character movement component has one variable that controls walk speed. Get character movements as function that points towards walk speed. Max walk speed, I mean. By default, it is usually 600.0 F. When player holds sprint, you can increase it. When player releases sprint, you can pull it back. That is literally all sprint is in your header files. Add these two functions in your header files. Void sprint start, sprint stop. In your C++ files, sprint start, get character movement component, max walk speed 1200. Void sprint stop or stop sprint, get character movement points towards max walk speed equals 600. Binding sprint to input. You already know how to bind input from phase 3. We use eTrigger event, remember? I do remember. For sprint, we need 2 bindings. eTrigger event started when player presses shift. eTrigger event completed when player releases shift. Enhance input component that points towards bind action, sprint action, eTrigger event. If a eTrigger event or if a, let's say, sprint action has been started on this object, I want to do what this function tells me to do. Same goes with the other. Same goes with my completed. There we go. If my sprint action has been completed on this object, I want to do what this function tells me to do. Crouch, how it works. Before crouch, I'm going to move on with sprint real quick. So, let's go ahead and remove that. How did complete it? Who typed completed here? Okay, well, in my header files, let's say I'm going to go under my regular functions. So I have movement functions. Their sprint is considered a movement, so I'm going to go with, actually, sprint is considered a movement. So my sprint function is going to be, let's say, having no parameters ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to need another white function for crouch with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Now that I've got sprint and crouch here, I'm going to go to my C++ file. In my C++ file, I'm going to copy this most basic code template right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and go under my begin plate. What's up, bro? You're hiding, D. Appreciate you joining the stream. That's my begin plate. Okay, move function. There's my look function. Under my look function, I'm going to go ahead and add another triple asterisk comment because you guys do know how much I love the triple asterisk comment. I actually kind of like this connection. It looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and say something like define the Sprint function. Function. Oh god. There we go. Now in order to define my sprint function, I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. Void a player character, which is going to be represented by a pointer, actually which is going to be represented by which uses a scope resolution operator to point towards my sprint function that does not require any parameters. I'm just gonna go with the pair of curly braces. Under my pair of curly braces, before I do anything else, I'm gonna create a few, let's say, input actions. There, I'm going to create a U property for my sprint action in which I want my sprint action to be edit anywhere. I might want it to be group read only, but maybe not for now because I won't be using my blueprints at all. And then I'm going to set my category to something like input. And then I'm going to go ahead and represent my U input action to be represented by a pointer called something like sprint action. Okay, and then I'm going to end it with a semicolon. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and add another U property there. A new subscriber here, appreciate you, Black Mela. Okay, so M-E-L-A. Melanida, I think that's Black Melanida. Guys, I'm awful at name pronunciation. That's it, appreciate you. That actually means the world to me, guys. So next up, we're gonna go with something like edit anywhere, W-H-E-R-E, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add a category that is going to be equal to something like input. And then I'm gonna go ahead and represent my U input action to be represented by a pointer called something like crouch action, ending with a semicolon. Then I hit Ctrl S to save the code, and then I move on to my C++ file. How much would you rate yourself out of 10 in C++ coding? Let's say I would rate myself somewhere around 4 out of 10. 3.5 out of 10, give or take. Okay, you need a better mic. It's harder to hear you, brother. I'm interested to watch what are you doing, but it's just hard to hear. Ending with a semicolon. Then I hit Ctrl S to save the code. And then I might blame my empty room for the echoing. I mean, 0, guys, a 0 is actually, I mean, it's pretty good if you're a beginner, to be honest, because I was a 0, let's say, 2 or 3 months ago, when it came to Unreal Engine. If I were to say, if I were to rate myself when it came to me using SDL, Pygames, actually C++, my bad, C++ in general or SDL, I would say that I'm somewhere around, let's say, a 6 out of 10, but in Unreal Engine, the syntax and functions are way complicated and way different compared to regular C++. So that's why my score dropped down to 4 or maybe even 3.5. I don't know. Somewhere around that. I just want to learn, or if you do want to work with, let's say, C++ in general, I wouldn't recommend SDL or Unreal Engine first if you're a beginner. Hell, I wouldn't even recommend C++. I would recommend Python. But if you either want to work with game development or AI engineering for Python, game development for C++, make sure to join the Discord server and mention me either in the Coding Help channel, C++ channel, or the general chat. I can go ahead and DM you my roadmap that I personally use for Python or C++, depending on what you really want to learn, if that makes sense, guys. That said, I'm gonna go with something like void a player character sprint function. Now, in my sprint function, I'm gonna go with something like character movement. Okay, here's the thing. Where is the function name? Get character movement. I'm gonna go with the get, C-H-A-R-A-C-T-E-R. Movement. You spelled small wrong, bro. Small wrong. Is there a small somewhere here? I don't think I use the word small anywhere. Is it like when I was asking or like talking to Claude? Okay, so I go with something like the get character movements function that points towards. I'm gonna go with something like max walk speed. Let's use the max walk speed as let's say variable. Okay, so while I am currently sprinting, I'm gonna go ahead and set my max walk speed to be equal to, let's say, I don't know. Fine, I'll go with 1200. Point F, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and points towards max walk speed. I'm pretty sure that's not a function, right? Nope, but this is going to be, let's say, start sprint. I'm going to change my function name here to something like start sprint, stop sprint. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and before I copy my stop sprint, I'm going to copy this exact same function. There. This is going to be stop sprint. When I stop sprinting, this is going to be 600 points F. There we go. Okay, now that I've got my start sprint and my stop sprint and I've set, let's say, some values to them, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is checking what did I actually mess up here. Can I use IntelliLessons for this? Oh wow, no IntelliLessons. I'm in Toronto. Is that actually a place? Because that name actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, so maximum speed, get character movement. I think I did it correct in that case. Yeah, I literally did it correct. Unless I had to include a header. Let's try. IntelliLessons. Character. Okay, do I need a header? Character movement component. CHAR. Okay, I guess I gotta go ahead and ask that because I don't think I can actually use my... Oh well, it was my Unreal Engine bugging. This is what I kind of hate about Unreal Engine. It kind of always bugs when it comes to adding codes. That makes it so hard to see if my code is correct until I'm not like 100% sure about it. Okay, well, I'm going to be moving on to the easier part now. Let's add another comment. Let's say something like sprint action, SPRINT. Let's go with S. Okay, where you Canada? That actually sounds pretty cool. Let's go with something like sprint action. Now, for my sprint action, I'm going to point my enhanced input component towards, let's say, a bind actions as function, where I want to go ahead and bind my sprint action. Now, there are going to go ahead and be two different parts to my sprint action. First is going to be for my eTrigger event, which is going to be using a scope resolution operator to point towards started, STARTED. Now, if my sprint action has started on this object, then I want to do what my... Hold up, guys. What my start sprints function tells me to do. Ending with a semicolon. In case you guys can't really see what I'm typing, make sure to move on to my horizontal stream. That's where I really display my screen in landscape mode compared to vertical stream, which I display my screen in portrait. Okay, where are you from? Honestly, I used to actually answer, but these days I did kind of stop answering it. I do live abroad, but I can't actually give my exact country. But earlier in the video, you spelled smock instead of small. Oh, I see. Okay. That's this time I'm going to go with sprint action. I'm going to go with completed. If a sprint action has been COMPLETED has been completed on this object, I want to do what my stop sprint tells me to do. And then I'm going to hit Control S to save the code and Control S to save the code. Run the program. Once I go ahead and run the program, I'm going to add a few changes in my Unreal Engine, and that's basically going to be it. For that, I got to wait for Unreal Engine to kind of open. Okay, while it opens, I might actually go ahead and drink some blood orange pink grapefruit. This is honestly, whatchamacallit, just sparkling water in a pretty fancy can. I think that was empty. Oh wow, wait, it said failed. What up, guys? Can't really be caught overzealous until I'm not done. I definitely need to include a file for these. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna finish the stream later. What time do you usually start streaming so I can catch you live next time? Honestly, I usually do mention you guys every time I stream on Discord. But tomorrow I will be streaming around, let's say, whatever your time is right now, subtract 2 hours from it. That's when I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, because Usually my stream does depend on when my college ends, and the days I don't have college, I stream relatively sooner compared to the days that I do have college, if that makes any sense. So tomorrow I won't be having any college, so I'm going to be streaming minus 2 hours from whatever your from whatever your current time is. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this. Go with your country and say something like sensei. Do I need a header to use the get character movement question mark? Then let's just go ahead and send it. Great question, and yes, you need this header. Of course, I knew that I needed a header, so get character movement components. Okay, I just forgot what header. I knew that I needed one. Okay, let's go with something like include game framework. From my game framework, I want to go ahead and include my character, CHARACTER, movement components as header files. Then I'm going to hit Control S to save the code. Now, if I were to go ahead and run the code, this is going to straight up open my Unreal Engine. Hi, you're hiding, Raj. Appreciate you joining the stream. There we go, result succeeded. One header was all I needed. Now this should open my Unreal Engine. Let's wait for it to open. Okay, what's bro? There we go. Now while my Unreal Engine is opening, I might really drink some water because I'm kind of thirsty. Oh wow, what a luck. I'm out of sparkling water and water. At 1 p.m. my time, Art, see you tomorrow? Oh, okay, our time zones are almost close to each other. Okay, that's Kitchen Extreme Black. Okay, let's wait for this to open real quick. Okay, one thing, Unreal Engine does take really long to open. I definitely know that it's because of my graphics card, because for now I'm using my CPU, and my CPU is basically in charge of carrying everything that I do. And that's something not good. Okay, I'm gonna go with something like yes, get my IMC defaults. Now, I'm gonna go to, let's say, something like content, maps, and open my mini project map. Where in my mini project map, I'm going to go to my content drawer, going to go to C/C++ classes. I just completed my operating system assignment that actually sounds so good. I was actually done with my programming exam today as well. Felt really good. Honestly, it feels really good. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go with something like add. Let's say I want to go ahead and add a static mesh. STATIC. I want to add a static mesh to this. Where my static mesh is gonna be cube. Okay, you know what? I keep going with Lisa. I want to go with my Lucy mesh. Lucy's is mesh this time. The thing with my Lucy, she looks completely like a brick. And one annoying thing is that Unreal Engine does make my stream lag, because I don't like see any kind of lag just using the program, but it lags on screen. Gotta fix that. It makes it so hard for you guys to actually see me do something. Let's make it big. Okay, I always use my good meshes. I want to use this bad one for today. And then I'm gonna ignore my pivot point and all that stuff. All I want to see if I can actually sprint. I'm gonna go with input. Input for the instance of my player. Oh wow, I didn't add a single input here. Okay, this is gonna be a massive pain. Fine, no move action, no look action. Okay, who needs those things? Sprint action. Is this the wrong character in general? Do I have anything? The level of performance by Cloud AI is incredible. That actually does make a lot of sense. Player character. Who am I using? I'm using player character. I should be able to see all my... Ah, I see. Okay. What I'm missing is that in my content browser, I gotta go to content, I gotta go to inputs. I don't have a single input here. Wow. I want to go ahead and add a bunch of action inputs. I wonder if I can copy it. Oh, I can duplicate it. Nice. Now I want to duplicate the two of this. Shift. Oh, wow. And now I'm going to go ahead and rename this to be something like IA_move. MOVE. I want to go ahead and rename this other one to be IA_look. Change your You changed your setup and background. Actually, I did because I moved on to like a brand new apartment. So this place I have way more space for my workout streams and in general, but it comes with a downside of echoing. I underscore look. Okay, I saw you using Unreal Engine 5 2 months ago. Oh, that actually sounds so cool. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and rename this to something like IA underscore sprint. What other input actions did I have? So I have move action, look action, sprint action, and crouch action, which I did not really be done with yet. So I'm going to name this something like IA underscore crouch. Now, if I were to go ahead and click input, magically I should be able to see all the move actions. That is IA underscore move, that is IA underscore look, that is IA underscore sprint. Why do I have two move actions? Interestingly strange. Fine, I guess I'm gonna go with all. Let's go to something like content. Let's go to input. Do I have multiple looks and moves? What if I delete? Replace reference. There. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Replace reference. No. I don't want to replace reference. There. Okay, I'm done with the content browser. Thank you. There we go. Wait, do I have two IA underscore moves here? Where's my IA underscore look? Fine, I guess I'm gonna add another action. Okay guys, this is why I did not take this shortcut, never. I tried to save some time copying everything, but apparently that made my work a bit more. Already has an asset called IA underscore look. Where is the asset? Okay, if you guys can't find the asset, just go with Control Alt F11. I mean, I meant Control Alt L. Control Alt L. Wow, what does this do? Yeah, I think I learned of a new thing today. Not bad. My look action consists of the attributes of my move action. And it's fine, if I were to run the code, it's not like I won't be able to move. Oh wow. I forgot to set my possess. Alright guys, just getting the tedious work out of the way. Oh god, I gotta add these manually. Fine, I guess I got all the time in the world. I already have them added manually. What? That is going to be for my move. And then I want to go ahead and delete that, add one. Cannot add a key to the map while a key with the same value exists. What do you mean with the same value exists? Fine, I'll go with that. Oh wow. New project, don't save. I'm gonna run the code again. And guys, trust me, this part is not hard at all. My half-baked brain is trying to figure this out. This is one of the easiest things, it's not really that hard. There. Gonna go to contents, gonna go to maps, gonna put my map up there, and then I'm gonna go to Blender. And I don't have a camera, so I'm not going to be working on that right now. Just working on getting the tedious step out the way. Do I have an input action? I do not. Nice. Okay, let's go with action. I want to go with an input action called something like IA underscore look. Where does it exist? Where does IA underscore look exist? In my recent, there's static mentions input. only place where they can physically exist. Well, I guess we gotta go with the next best name. Well, I mean, I already have one. Let's rename. There. Doesn't really fix the main issue to delete the culprit, but I guess I just want to get it to work for the time being. Let's go with input. Look action is going to be IA underscore look to. There we go, finally. Sprint, crouch is going to be IA underscore crouch. And then I'm going to go with something like possess. It's going to be set to player 0. And then I'm going to hit Control S to save the code, move on to my MC. Default I have IA underscore move. I'm going to go ahead and add another mapping. Not add a key. Ah, I see. Okay, mapping goes one there. This is going to be based on where my mouse moves on the x-axis, where my mouse moves on the y-axis. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another mapping for my, let's say, sprints. I want to go ahead and sprint every time I click Q. And then I'm going to hit Control Alt F11. Because my exhaustion has reached its, let's say, peak. Gonna go there. I can go ahead and turn around. Why am I turning so quick? You guys might think that, right? Basically, because I gotta go to my inputs. I'm gonna go to my IE underscore move, double click it, set this digital boolean to 2D vector. Okay, because I move in a two-dimensional, let's say in a two-dimensional place. Excuse me guys if that's the correct word to use here. Okay, because I'm moving using the x-axis and the y-axis. Now if I move, that's a perfect movement. Forward, backwards. If I move, whoa. Alright, my bad. I should have kept my map a little bigger. I like working with small maps, but yes, it is what it is. Let's go with R. Make it bigger and bigger. There. Let's go with W. Guys, ignore my POV, like, if I hit Q, you guys can clearly see me moving faster compared to if I don't click Q. That's basically what the sprint action is for. I could add a jump action if I wanna, like if I wanted to, but I don't really wanna. There you see, slow versus fast. Okay, wow. Okay, let's exit the program. I'm gonna double click this. Why is this so big from every angle? Okay, that's it. I actually think about call it a day with that. I'm gonna work with the. Actually, I don't even think I need to really work with the crocs because it's exactly the same as sprint, but there might be different things. So I'm gonna go to my main camera and really check my stream out. Give me a sec. Let me check if it really lagged as much. I won't say that it did not lag that much, but alright, guys, kind of checking everything. Okay, it still lags a bit because my CPU is taking all the toll, but it's actually kind of better. But that said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like, it's my algorithm, share, make you smile, subscribe, and forget to your top. That said, I wish I could have said you guys that I started multi-streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and I was about to multi-stream on TikTok and Instagram as well. Although that's out of the question until I don't like getting graphics card because I'm trying to have my YouTube have a peak quality instead of multi-streaming with low quality in every single platform. I just stuck to one platform and I kind of increase the quality of that. That's if you guys still do enjoy my content and want to follow me, the link is going to be in the description in the pin. I don't think it's in the pinned comments, but it will be in my bio, or you guys can get access to my socials by tapping exclamation social on chat. Make sure to join my Discord server as well. That's why I usually chat with you guys, talk to you guys, have general conversation. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio. You guys can get access to the link to my, actually by tapping exclamation Discord on chat as well. That said, I'll catch you guys next time for more video. Peace.